There's a moment no one ever warns you about. A moment that feels completely ordinary when it happens, yet it quietly rewrites two entire lives forever. It's not the first "I love you," it's not the most explosive fight, it's not even the night everything falls apart in screaming and tears. No, the moment that actually changes everything is the one when you finally, truly decide to leave, and you mean it with every cell in your body. No secret hope they'll chase, no "maybe if I just disappear for a week they'll realize," no backup plan tucked in the back of your mind. Just the calm, cold, irreversible click of the door behind you. You've felt it, haven't you? That strange, almost sacred silence after you walk away from someone who was certain you never would. A partner who treated your boundaries like suggestions. A friend who only called when they needed something. A parent whose love always came with guilt. An entire friend group that suddenly felt like a costume from an old life. Here's what almost nobody tells you. The second you become unreachable, something seismic starts inside the person you left. A psychological chain reaction so precise and so universal that Carl Jung, the man who mapped the unseen layers of the human soul, believed it was one of the most powerful catalysts for either genuine awakening or permanent emotional calcification. Most people think when you leave, you just create emptiness. Jung discovered you create something far more dangerous. You create a mirror. And whatever stares back at them in that mirror will either shatter their illusions or force them to finally meet the parts of themselves they've spent years avoiding. This video is not about revenge. It's not about how to make them regret it. It is about the hidden, almost terrifyingly predictable 6-stage journey almost every single person goes through when someone they thought would tolerate anything finally chooses themselves instead. By the time this video ends, you will never again wonder what your absence is doing to them. You will know. Carl Jung spent 50 years studying how the psyche responds to loss, separation, and the sudden withdrawal of projection. He never wrote a tidy list called the 6 stages after someone walks away, but when you stitch together his work on the shadow, individuation, projection, and the way the unconscious erupts when its favorite container disappears, the pattern is unmistakable. I've watched this exact sequence play out in real time. Hundreds of relationships, romantic, familial, friendships, even toxic work connections. The order almost never changes. The intensity does. But the stages? They're like gravity. Before we begin, let's get one thing crystal clear. This is not permission to abandon people lightly. This is not a manipulation tactic. Jung believed that authentic separation, the kind that happens when a relationship has become a prison for the soul, is sometimes the only remaining act of love. Sometimes the greatest mercy you can offer another human being is to remove yourself completely so they are finally forced to carry their own shadow. So, here they are, the 6 psychological stages almost everyone goes through when you finally walk away and you do not come back. Stage 1. The disbelief fortress. At first, they feel nothing real. Their mind slams the emergency brake. This can't be permanent. You'll hear them laugh it off. They're just upset. They'll cool down. They always come back. They tell mutual friends, "Honestly, I saw this coming. I'm actually relieved." Some of them even throw a party the same week. But watch their actions, not their words. That's when the truth leaks out. The 2 a.m. fake accounts viewing your stories. The wrong number text that's clearly not wrong. The slow drive past your house with the headlights off. Jung called this denial a sacred pause. The ego cannot survive a direct hit to its core story. I am lovable exactly as I am, and this person will never leave. So the psyche buys time. It builds a fortress out of minimization, bravado, and fake indifference. The length of this fortress depends on one thing: how central you were to their identity. The more they define themselves through your presence, your forgiveness, your tolerance, the thicker and higher the walls go. I've seen this stage last days. I've seen it last months. But walls are not forever. And when the first real crack appears, everything changes. Stage 2. The replacement frenzy. The moment the disbelief fortress starts to crumble, panic floods in. Now it's a full-speed race to prove they never needed you in the first place. New partner, often eerily similar to you within weeks. Sudden obsession with the gym, new wardrobe, new city, new job, new everything. Social media becomes a highlight reel on steroids. Look how unbothered I am. Look how fast I moved on. Jung would smile sadly at this stage because the speed and the specificity of the replacement tells you everything. They're not replacing a person, they're desperately trying to plug a psychological hole with another human being who can wear the same mask you used to wear for them. The new person gets all the praise you begged for, all the attention, all the idealization. And if you look closely, you'll see the new person already starting to look exhausted, because nobody can carry someone else's shadow forever. Stage 3. The emotional avalanche. One random Tuesday, the mask cracks clean in half, and everything they swallowed, minimized, distracted themselves from comes roaring out all at once. Rage that makes them shake, grief that keeps them in bed for days, guilt that wakes them at 4 a.m., longing that feels like physical pain in the chest. They will hate you with a fire that scares even them, then miss you so badly they can't breathe, then hate themselves for missing you, then drunk text, then delete the text, then block you, then unblock you 30 seconds later. They rewrite history so you're the villain, then remember the way you used to hold them after nightmares and collapse all over again. Jung said repressed emotion does not dissolve, it ferments. And when the container finally breaks, the eruption is volcanic. This is the stage people embarrass themselves the most. This is also the stage where authentic feeling finally gets its first breath. For the first time since you left, something real is moving inside them. And real feeling is dangerous, because once it starts, it demands to be integrated. Stage 4. The meaning-making crucible. When the emotional storm finally exhausts itself, the mind desperately needs a new story to survive. 3 stories usually emerge. Listen closely, because the story they choose here will decide the rest of their life. Story A. The minimization story. It was never that deep. I was already outgrowing them. This is actually a blessing. Safe, clean, and completely false. But it lets them keep the fortress walls standing. Story B. The villain story. They were toxic, selfish, crazy, abusive, you name it. I dodged a bullet. This one feels empowering, until years later when every new relationship starts feeling familiar in the worst ways. And story C, the rarest and most terrifying story. What was my part? What patterns did I ignore? What parts of me were comfortable staying small so they could stay comfortable staying unconscious? This is the door to actual growth. Almost nobody walks through it on the first try, but the ones who do never go back to who they were. The story they settle on becomes the lens through which they see every future relationship. Choose poorly, and your absence hardens them. Choose bravely, and your absence becomes the greatest teacher they ever had. Stage 5. The return maneuver. Now the truth stops hiding behind words and starts showing up in behavior. This is when you find out what you actually meant to them. 4 classic maneuvers appear. The perfectly timed vulnerability text, usually late at night, usually after they've had just enough liquid courage. I know you probably hate me, but I need you to know I finally get it. It feels raw. It feels real. And 90% of the time it was rehearsed in the mirror for 3 days. The indirect life demonstration. Suddenly, they're posting gym progress, therapy quotes, screenshots of self-help books. Not because they want to change, because they want you to see the change and come back on your own. The grand gesture. Showing up at your door. Long letter. Public post tagging you indirectly. Anything that forces a response. And then, the rarest and most evolved. The quiet closure. A message that asks for nothing, that owns their part, that thanks you for the role you played in their awakening, and then actually lets you go. Their behavior in this stage always betrays the story they claimed to believe in stage 4. That's the giveaway. Words lie. Actions in the return stage do not. Stage 6. The permanent imprint. Years from now, this moment, you're walking away, will still be living inside them. And there are only 3 possible permanent outcomes. Outcome 1, transformative integration. They level up. Healthier boundaries, deeper self-awareness, the ability to love without needing to control or be saved. Your absence became the crucible that burned away what was keeping them small. These are the people who one day, quietly, thank you. Outcome 2, defensive calcification. They armor up harder than ever, more guarded, more cynical. This is why I don't let people in. Same patterns, now wrapped in 10 extra layers of protection. Outcome 3, the pendulum swing. They become the extreme opposite of whatever hurt you. Were they emotionally unavailable? Suddenly they're suffocatingly clingy with the next person. Were they controlling? Now they let everyone walk all over them. Still not balanced, still not whole, just running in the opposite direction. Here's what Jung understood that almost nobody else does. You do not get to decide which of these 3 outcomes they land in. That power was never yours. But by walking away cleanly, finally, and without cruelty, you give them the only real chance they'll ever have at outcome 1. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for another soul is remove the crutch they were using to avoid growing up. When you stop carrying their shadow, they finally have to look at it. And that moment of confrontation is where real magic or real tragedy begins. If you are watching this and something inside you just whispered, "This is my sign." If you've been shrinking yourself to keep someone else comfortable, if you've been tolerating what you know you should have left a long time ago, if you're gathering the courage right now to finally choose yourself, drop one sentence in the comments. I choose my becoming. Let's see how many of us are done betraying our own souls to keep people who never deserved us. And when you're ready for the next layer, the video after this one is called The Shadow Dance: Why You Keep Attracting the Exact Pain You're Trying to Heal. Because once you see the unconscious contract you signed with them, you will never sign it again. You deserve relationships that help you rise, not ones that keep you on your knees. I'll see you in the next one. And until then, choose you every single time.